You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm Frank Morano. Well, yesterday, John Tabacco and I sat down with the king of cable news, the one and only Bill O'Reilly, and we may have a whoosh transition that I fought very hard for right now. Here's Bill.
Now, we try to bring you the guests all the time that know where the rubber meets the road, the people that know where the bodies are buried. But when you're an old radio guy like me who got your first chance to be on national television on Newsmax TV, and you get a guest like this, it's humbling. Because the man who held the #1 spot on cable news for 16 years, New York Times best-selling author, Bill O'Reilly, joins us today. And Mr. O'Reilly, thank you so much for coming on our humble show. I appreciate you being with us.
Thanks for giving me free food. I appreciate it. You know, if I'm free food, I'll go anywhere.
Joining me, as always, is my co-host and managing editor of Liquid Lunch, Frank Morano. Mr. O'Reilly, this is like so humbling for us to have you on our show. We've only been on for 6 weeks, and you're a legend. You're like the Babe Ruth of cable news. How are you handling this Iran stuff when you see what's happening out there?
Well, I mean, look, I don't know what the briefings are. I assume the government's telling us the truth. I think everybody has to be a little skeptical because of what happened in Iraq. But at this point, it looks like the administration's handling it in a way that is authoritative but not hasty. So I'm okay with what they're doing.
We kind of poke fun at the left-wing media on this show. We do little segments like Morning Joke and The Last Turd when we kind of break down lies that they're telling on the left wing. And the other day, Morning Joe was setting it up like, oh, look how smart Trump is. He finally showed some reason. And then just seconds later, he says, but now everyone knows in the whole world that he's just a bully and he'll never do anything. We're going to get pushed around. How terrible is the state of media these days?
I think everybody knows how bad it is, John. You know, on my podcast on BillO'Reilly.com, we document the real bad stuff. I don't even bother with the guy you mentioned. He's nothing. Nobody watches him. He doesn't mean anything. But the bigger institutions like the New York Times, the Washington Post, they do mean something. And they're dishonest in the sense that the end justifies the means. They want to remove Trump from the Oval Office. That's the goal. And they're willing to do pretty much anything to do that. And there's a lot of ancillary stuff that goes off that. So if you support Trump, they're going to come after you. They're going to send a message that if you are in the media and you support Donald Trump, we're going to hurt you. All right? And they do. They carry it out. All of that adds up to an assault on our democracy because people need honest information. Now, I give it to them. And if you have a beef with what I say, I'm more than happy to have you on, challenge you. But I'm not in the business to promote any party or any ideology. I'm in the business to tell the people the truth.
It's so interesting. You always struck me as a sort of an independent, common sense guy. And your critics, especially in the hard left media, they always portrayed you as this arch-right conservative. Yeah, I remember one book you wrote, you said Robert F. Kennedy was a political mentor of yours. That doesn't sound like an arch-right conservative commentator.
But they don't have to base anything, their accusations on anything true. They can just say what they want to say. And the fact was that when I was on the Fox News channel, we had an enormous amount of power. That we shifted a lot of the debate in the country because so many people watched us. The far left didn't like that. Far left doesn't want independent thought. That's the furthest thing from their mind. They don't want that. They want, this is our ideology, and either you support it or you're an enemy and we're going to hurt you.
It seems like even Joe Biden is getting in trouble with the far left elements of his party.
They don't want Biden.
What are you expecting in the debates this week with respect to Biden?
I'm expecting nothing. There are too many people on the stage. Half of them will just introduce themselves, and that'll be it. I don't believe there's going to be a lot of tough questions from NBC News, which is firmly in the left-wing category. I don't think they're going to challenge anybody. Todd might, just to get a little cred, maybe, but I'm not expecting very much. I want to see body language. I want to see articulation, able to answer questions under pressure. I think we'll see a little of that. But of course, I'll have the best analysis on Thursday, and I'll tell you exactly who screwed up and who didn't.
You could hear Bill O'Reilly on the No Spin News podcast every day on BillO'Reilly.com. And your latest in this series of killing books, Killing the SS, is another New York Times bestseller. And it kind of leads me to my question about this Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, that there's stories about her anti-Semitism, and now there's this rumor that Breitbart's been following, that we've been keeping an eye on, that she may have had an illegal marriage to get into the U.S. What do you think about this, Congresswoman?
Well, I'm more concerned with Ocasio-Cortez than Ms. Omar, who I don't believe has much of a media following, because she does have a questionable past. So they're not going to get on that train. But Ocasio-Cortez saying there's concentration camps on the southern border. I could hand her my book, Killing the SS, which, if you want to know about concentration camps and how these heinous Nazi killers got away, who captured them, that is the book. I could hand her the book. She wouldn't read it.
No.
She wouldn't read it. She's not interested in knowledge. She's interested in headlines. The media has adopted her as the poster girl for the far left. And she's a celebrity now. She's a queen. And that's what she wants. I predict she'll be on The View in a couple of years. She'll not run for Congress, and she'll go right into the celebrity world. That's where she wants to be.
We do little things on the show where sometimes we ask our guests if they want to have a cocktail and try to get some truth serum in them. But one of our slogans here is that we want to make AOC bartend again, send her back to where she came from. Do you think she'd be better off for the country bartending and being on The View than where she is?
I think she hurts the country, and I'm sorry. She's a fellow Boston University alumnus. I got a master's degree from there. But I do think she hurts the country, because there are impressionable younger Americans who don't know anything who listen to her. And she's just spouting a bunch of propaganda that has no factual backup at all.
Big thank you to Bill O'Reilly and to everybody that not only made that whoosh sound effect possible, but gave permission for it to be used. Part 2 of our interview with Bill O'Reilly tomorrow, as John does the show from the Blockchain Center in Miami on the eve of the first presidential debate. Coming up next, I'll tell you what I got wrong today.
That